Oh hey, it's you again. What's that, you ask? What cameras do I use on my kayak? Let's talk about that. Oh, whew. What is up? So, day 1, 2, and 3 are in the books. Today is day 4 of the 12 days of Vlogmas. Now, I know yesterday I gave you part 1 of my top 5 fishing destinations of 2018, but part 2 is not ready yet. Some technical difficulties, if you will. But yeah, it's coming. It'll probably be tomorrow. But yeah, so tonight we're going to talk about something a little bit different. I think tonight what we're going to talk about is my cameras that I bring on my kayak with me. Because people always ask me, you know, what cameras do you use? Which is a totally valid question. I get that. And we're going to go over what I use. It might not be right for you. There's probably better stuff out there, but for me, it gets the job done. So here we go. I think this is going to be super fun, and it should be pretty relevant since so many people are starting to film their kayak adventures, their fishing adventures, and I think it's just, you know, kind of something that I've been wanting to do but haven't because I just haven't had time, and this is kind of, you know, forcing me to do that. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about my camera gear, and then I'm going to talk about ways that you can get set up to film your own stuff on the water without breaking the bank necessarily. So yeah, let's hop into it. So most of the time when I start a video, I usually am on the big camera, and I'm usually holding it in my hand. And my big camera is a Canon Rebel T4i. It's got the flip out screen, the whole shebang. I'm using a Canon EFS 10-22 lens. You want that ultra wide because then you get all of this in the frame. If you're using like a 24 or an 18, you're gonna get a little less. Now that stock lens that comes with the Rebel series is great for vlogging because it has that 18 range plus the 55. Now I lose that zoom capability because I'm only using a 10-22, which is fine with me because, you know, I don't bring this on the water with me all the time because I don't want to drop it in the water. So the 10-22 is, in my opinion, perfect for, you know, a crop sensor camera and being able to hold it out in front of you and vlog naturally. On top, I have a Rode VideoMic Go. It's the cheapest and the smallest, the lightest, you know, mic that they have. I have a Dead Cat over top of it, and really does well with the wind noise for it being such a tiny mic. The only thing I don't like is you have to be speaking directly into it to get the best volume. Things happen all around the camera when you're filming, and the only way you get the best audio is if you're speaking directly into it, which it's a directional stereo mic. So yeah, that's the only downside to that mic. I like the size, I like the weight. The weight of this camera is great, along with the lens. I was using a 24-105 L series lens, and that thing was heavy. I still have that lens, but I don't use it for vlogging because the 24 was a little too tight. And you can see in this clip here, we're back from river bassing. Not the day I wanted. Caught some fish, had some fun. Took a hook to the hand that's not on camera, unfortunately. It would have been great to see. Lost about 150 yards on one of my reels. And you can see the difference between where I'm at now and where the 24 was in that clip right there. So as you can see, it's a big difference. Let's get into the cameras that are on my kayak, attached to my body, everything like that. Yeah, this is the fun part. These are my cameras that I use on the water. They film all of my fish catches and kind of supplement the story for me. So here we go. The first is this little guy right here, the GoPro Hero 4 Silver. Now, I got the GoPro Hero 4 Silver a couple years ago now, when it was pretty much brand new, and I picked the silver because it came with the LCD back, which I thought was pretty beneficial to helping me frame some shots if I was going to use this as a main vlogging camera, which you can, but there's some drawbacks to that, and I'll get into those in a second. Now, this goes on my Railblaza camera mount, usually over my shoulder. This is the camera that's over my shoulder, so the angle you see in most of my videos of over my shoulder is this guy. I film in 1080p 60 frames a second, so that way I can get somewhat of a buttery smooth slow-mo with this for those sweet you know, fish jumps and the actual fish catches, the hook sets, the whole shebang. That way I get a little bit of that cinematic kind of slow-mo with this. Now, if it was 120, I'd be totally happy with this camera because I'd get buttery smooth slow-mo. but it doesn't. It's got 1080p 60 frames, which to me does the job for most people. So don't be afraid with all these other GoPros out here, the Hero 5, Hero 6, Hero 7 now with the Hypersmooth. Don't be afraid to look at these guys use. These Hero 4s are no joke, some of the better GoPros that have come out. Now they all have their drawbacks, one being audio. Audio is a big time drawback, and the way I get around the audio is actually use an adapter, and then I plug into a lavalier mic which attaches to the camera boom. Now you lose a little bit of that waterproof case, but I'm not dunking this camera. It's going to stay on that boom all day. As long as I don't flip my kayak, God forbid, this camera stays dry. The other key piece of this is high powered cards. You know, there's differences between SD cards. You got to make sure you're getting the higher quality cards to match the footage that you're catching, as well as match the upload rate, so you have a faster upload time, the speeds are better on the camera, and it just is a generally easier process in the end when you're post-processing your footage. So yeah, that's my main camera that you see in all my over-the-shoulder kayak videos, and it's my chest cam. I mount it to my chest whenever I'm on the boat. So that's the GoPro Hero 4 Silver, and yeah, that's him. The next camera I use is a little different. It's not your regular run-of-the-mill GoPro brand camera. It's actually something that nobody's probably even heard of watching this video. It's the Ricoh WG-M2. And, you know, I actually, disclaimer, I work for Ricoh full-time. And I won this camera in a raffle last Christmas, maybe 2 Christmases ago, something like that. But it's, you know, it's a more than capable action camera. Now, it doesn't need a case like the Hero 4 Silver does, so it doesn't need a waterproof case. This is waterproof sealed the way it is. And I really do like this camera. There's a few drawbacks with it as well. Now, the first thing I really like about it is the enormous wide angle. It's got a 204-degree wide angle lens, which means it basically can see behind itself, which sometimes is frustrating. So when I have the camera like this, you can actually see the things behind it, which is interesting, gives you for an interesting look. Now you can fix that in camera, but I kind of like that extra wide look, especially for where I have it, which is usually right in front, you know, kind of like a point of view shot up at me, and I'll show you a clip in a second. But the other thing I like about this camera is the audio quality. It picks up audio pretty well for being, you know, kind of sealed internally. This thing's seen some tough days. It's gotten beat up a little bit, but the audio still sounds pretty good. The other drawback to this is the battery life. The battery life on this isn't great, and there's no way to plug in an extended battery for it. Because the back is sealed, you know, where you could plug it in, you can't charge it while you're shooting. You can't add more battery power to it, which kind of is a drawback. But batteries are super cheap for this thing, so I have like 7 or 8 of them. So it's just, you know, taking the time and changing batteries on the water, which is kind of frustrating. And that's why I actually don't take it for tournament day. I don't want to have to worry about swapping a battery, you know, and forget about fishing on a tournament day. So that's why you'll see me bring this on more of my fun fishing trips and things like that, because, you know, I don't want to be fumbling around with batteries mid-tournament. It shoots in 4K, 60 frames. I shoot in 1080p 60, just so I can match that same frame rate as the GoPro, so that way I don't have to down res or anything like that in post, which is just a pain in the butt. So I keep the frame rate and I keep the resolution the same. That way, you know, in post production it's easy. Drawbacks to this camera: battery. That's pretty much it. I like this little guy. I need to use him more, and I need to get used to swapping the battery on the water, so that way I get more comfortable with it and figure out how long things take and things like that. But yeah, same thing as the GoPro. Get some high quality cards, because it'll only improve your footage in the end and will improve your experience in editing that footage. It does have Wi-Fi just like the GoPro, so you can look at things on your phone. It does have this cool little LCD at the top, so you can see what you're shooting, which I kind of like too, so that way, you know, if I did put it on my chest, I don't have to flip it down. It's right on top, which is kind of nice too. It's got 1/4-20 mounts here, so you can mount it to more things that are, you know, camera mountable. And I also have the adapters for it to go into GoPro mounts. So all my GoPro mounts, I can use this camera as well because I bought the adapter. So yeah, there's that. So there's the Ricoh WG M2 Action Cam. And again, this is my supplemental camera that sits up front. There you have it, my vlog camera, which you're looking at right now. You're looking through that right now. The Canon Rebel T4i with a 10-22 on it. Then you have the GoPro Hero 4 Silver, which is my workhorse, and the Ricoh WG M2 action camera, which is gonna have to get used more. I really do actually like this thing because of the audio. Yeah, so those are my cameras. That's how I set them up, and that's how I use them when I'm out on the water. I would like to add a third and really trying to maximize every single angle, but I think we'll save that for 2019. All right, so there's that. Now we're going to talk about ways that you can use things like your phone on the water to capture your own footage. Now, phone quality has gotten outrageous. I know this iPhone 8 Plus shoots 4K 60 frames a second, so it's kind of surpassed things like this GoPro sensor in the ways of, trying to capture high res and still being able to slow it down to a buttery smooth kind of cinematic feel. So that's one way that you can do this. The other way is to buy used. Buy used. Everything I have here, I bought used. This, I didn't. This was brand new. But my vlog camera, the lens, this was also brand new because I won it in a raffle. But my vlogging camera, I bought used. Don't be afraid to look at Facebook Marketplace. Don't be afraid to look at Craigslist. Go to B&H, look at the used. Go to Adorama, look at the used. Go to KEH, look at the used products, because you're going to find quality. You're going to find, things like this that can help you be more creative on and off the water. Now, one of the ways you can mount this bad boy cheaply and effectively and keep it safe, know that it's not going to sink to the bottom of the ocean or the bottom of the lake that you're fishing on, is an action hat. Action hats are great for a lot of things. You can hook your GoPro to them. I can hook this camera to them. But they created a phone mount, so you can mount your phone directly to your hat. Now, I have a DIY kit that I still haven't attached to a hat, which I think I'm going to do in a video later this week. But they actually make a mount so you can mount your phone directly to your hat. So that's one option. I think the DIY kit is 30 bucks. So rather than buying a camera boom and all this other stuff and a chest mount for your phone, go buy that action hat, go buy the clip for the phone, and then you have it wherever you go. Now, the great thing about the action hat is it floats. So if you drop that over the side of the boat, it's not going to sink. The action hat floats and it'll keep it on the surface, so you can just pick it up again and start filming. Anyways, that's the video for tonight, day 4 of the 12 days. Did I say 5? I said 5. Day 4 of the 12 days of Vlogmas. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my other videos. I appreciate it. Tell your friends, tell your aunts, uncles, cousins, priests, rabbis. Tell everyone. Tell them all. Tell everyone to come watch my videos. Thank you, and I will see you tomorrow for day 5 of the 12 days of Vlogmas. Oh, and it's Sunday, so go Eagles.